Welcome to We RRR Legion, a publication of WRL Broadcast, in our first episode of the unofficial podcast for Aion Legions of War. I am Hate Mail, and with me today is Ogre Barbarian and Loot. We're both relatively new to the game, and we also have a popular podcast for a mobile game called DC Legends Mobile. But we saw a huge need for some content for this game, and being new that we know there's a lot of things we didn't know when we first started, and we definitely still don't know a whole lot of stuff, but we wanted to get this podcast going. We do hope to have some guests. We had one slated for today, but I think we had an issue with time zones. And in future episodes, maybe in this episode later, if we're able to catch them before this episode goes live, we're going to do some Q&As with some experienced players. I've been playing for about 3 weeks when the game first released, and I know, Ogre Barbarian, when did you start playing?
I think I downloaded it in the first week, but I didn't start actually playing it for another week after that, almost.
And how, what level are you now?
I'm 15.
Okay.
Sorry. I just hit 16.
Okay, and I think I'm 22. And Loot, you started just a couple days ago, correct?
I started 4 days ago, and I'm level 25.
You don't play around.
No, I hit it hard.
And so, for those of you out there that are kind of looking at this game or relatively new to the game and interested in playing, this game is very complex. There's a lot of things to it. And so we had kind of a slew of questions. So we're going to kind of start this first episode just kind of talking through the little bit that we know and the things that we're trying to achieve in it. We just formed our own guild, which if there's anybody out there looking to join a new guild, look up the Court of Owls because we are accepting applicants. Like I said, we're all pretty low level. We're in the low 20s. We're definitely not ranked high, but we hope to change that in the future. From what I can tell, this game doesn't seem like it's got a horrible paywall, which could change later. But it seems like as free-to-play, you can play pretty much as much as you want. Have you guys run into any walls yet?
I haven't run into a wall yet because I keep getting free energy. There was a big issue with Android users not being able to log in for almost a full 24 hours. And I think I got a huge amount of energy from that. And then you guys kept opening secret shops, so I bought a bunch of energy there. So at one point I had 600 energy. There
is a great guide by Ruin Nation, I think is what his name is. It's on the Aion Reddit board. And one of the things he says, and for those of you out there that may or may not know, definitely buy energy every single time you see a secret shop because it is extremely discounted. And while I didn't ever run out of energy until I got like in my later teens, I have started running out of energy. I know you've run out of energy as much as you've been playing, correct, Luke?
Yeah, I've run out of energy because I've been playing it nonstop, and eventually you deplete your energy when you keep doing adventures and dungeons over and over and over and over again. I actually let it go overnight the other day. It was doing continuous battles, and not only did it use all my energy, but it used all my gems.
I saw you could set it so that it lets you buy gems over and over.
It hit the store for me.
That is dangerous. I have to say that is extremely dangerous in a game.
Yeah, it burned up like 600 or 700 gems. I was like, oh my god, what happened?
That's good to know.
Yeah, it will. I've noticed that whenever you do set the continuous battle, you can set all kinds of different, which I really think that's a cool feature because I know in the game that we all originally played, you kind of had to manually tap. I know some games have, a lot of different mobile games now have it so that you can run continuous, but this will actually advance. It will purchase from the shop. You can set it to stop if certain things, different criteria are met. It's definitely a really cool feature to have in game. Sometimes I guess it would be considered a bad thing because the temptation to just leave it running all the time now is very high. So let's start at the very, very beginning. So when you first play the game in the tutorial, it doesn't really give a good feel for exactly what the game's about. When I first played the tutorial, I was like, I don't know if the game's for me. And then I decided, normally with a game like this, I normally just kind of that's it for me. But I decided because it was Aion and I had played the MMO version and I kind of liked the music and the sound effects and it just kind of was nostalgic for me, I decided to give it a little bit longer, and that's when it really hooked me. It does seem like I know you get two characters early on. The first two characters that you get that are Dark Ren and what's her name, Leona. That
Correct.
you get right out of the gate. They are supposedly, according to the guide on Disc or on Reddit, they're very good characters. They seem like very good characters in the game, and you get them right in the beginning.
I think you get Astria as well.
Yeah,
You do get Astria, but she's not as good. And I've figured out part of why. Part of the reason whether a character is good or not is based on their talent.
Okay.
A higher talent value leads to higher stats overall. Leona has like a 7, which is pretty high. Ren has, I believe, a 6 or 7. But then Astria has like a 5. And that's part of the reason that she kind of gets left behind.
yeah, I do recall reading that on one of the.
Also, Ren and Leona are DPS, whereas Astria is a healer. And she does okay as a healer, but she's unfortunately left behind by some of the healers you can get later on, and that's part of her issue.
I've come into the same issue with her. I find that I stopped using her.
Yeah, you're going to find a better healer eventually.
Yeah, I'd gotten a Water Absalon, I think it was Water, who seemed very good, and when I was reading on some of the guides, it seemed like he was one of the. Actually, I think I have a Wood Absalon, but I remember reading on the tier list of notable characters that he was one that you definitely wanted to have.
I pulled a Dark Absalom, so he was my first light dark hero. Confinite.
And then for those of you unfamiliar, there's basically 5 affinities where there's water, fire, wood.
I've got all my notes. Do you want me to go over all that stuff?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay. So in-game, there's 5 elements. There's light, which is a goldish color. Dark, which is like a black-purple. Then there's fire, which is red. Wood, which is green. And water, which is blue. There's these hues to the background and some of the color characterizations on the character. But you can also, there's just a description with it as well. There is 4 base stats. They are strength, agility, intelligence, and will. Each character class has one of those 4 stats as its primary stat. And what that does, if you increase the base stat that is indicated as the primary, it will increase the attack value and HP value of that character as well as other corresponding stats. The 10 classes, there's 4 melee and 6 ranged. The 4 melees are Templar, Aethertech, Gladiator, and Assassin. And then the ranged characters are Ranger, Sorcerer, Spirit Master, Gunner, Cleric, and Songweaver. I know this sounds like a bunch of gibberish, but Templar and Aethertech are basically your frontline tanks. Gladiator and Assassin are your melee DPS. Ranger and Sorcerer are your range DPS. Spirit Master and Gunner are your damage over time specialists. Cleric and Songweaver are your healers. Cleric being full heal all at once, Songweaver being heal over time.
So one of the things that was noted with the affinities is that it seems like certain versions, depending on the power sets you get, so with the different affinities, so say you have a Tanku, which is one of the early tank characters that you receive. There's a fire version, a water version, a wood version, a dark, and a light version. And from what I've read, I guess certain versions have different abilities that are better than others.
So, yes. It seems like the characters have a quote, I want to quote this, but natural affinity towards one particular element. What that means is their talent score is going to be slightly higher in that affinity, and they are possible to have a different skill, whether it's a leadership skill or something else, but something that will make them stand out from the others of their particular hero. That's something that I've noticed, yeah.
And then, for example, I see the Absalon, one of the notes on why you want this hero. the water version has remove terror, which is great for endgame bosses.
I think it's not just the water, but something to note is that water, wood, and fire can be gained from the regular Confinite. The light and dark versions are only in the light-dark Confinite.
Yeah, so they're rare. A lot of times I've read on guides to save any light and dark characters that you get because they're harder to obtain.
That being said, my Dark Absalom has the remove terror also, but he's harder to obtain, so that's why the water one is noted.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure anyway.
So do we know which Absalom has what we'll call the God roll, or
I'm pretty
best
sure it's
ability?
water or dark. I'm pretty sure.
Got
It might be water, dark, or light. I'm not really sure. I haven't done all that detail yet, but I'm guessing that water is, of the primary three, the one that you want.
Well, I have
So
wood,
I've got
and he doesn't have it.
water and wood, and maybe I'll take some screenshots and send it over to you guys.
And I'll take a look at them. Or, you know what? I think there's a codex in-game. I can just go poke around.
Oh yeah, you could do that too.
Well, I have a water. I have a wood and a water as well, and
Okay, so I keep using the word Confinite. The Confinite is basically a crystal that contains the character. You earn them in various ways throughout the game and various different levels, because there's the regular Confinite, which is like a silvery. There's the rare Confinite, which is like a black. And then there's specifically wood, fire, and water Confinite, as well as light-dark Confinite. There's also Summonite cubes, which are more powerful. You get better stuff from those. There's also friend summons, which it's not recommended that you use the friend summons. It's recommended that you go to the store, go to the social tab, and purchase the rare Confinites there with the friend currency. Right?
They want. Most guides recommend that you purchase the light and dark Confinite with the social coins. I've noticed
And
that.
where do you get those? Where's that shop?
In the shop, and then scroll down to the bottom to social. There's a tab.
Oh yes, I'm there.
The shop is not just one shop. It has all the shops linked in the shop. You just have to find the right tab.
Yeah, it's the very bottom one, and there's 750 social, which you get a ton of them. And that's another thing to note in this game is that you can, any of your friends on your friends list, there's lots of requests for it. So you want to get a maximum amount of friends. I believe it's 30 or 50. I can't remember exactly.
I think it's 30.
So you can get up to 30 friends, and then you can send them coins. You don't lose anything when you send coins. So always send coins when that's available. And then all of those people will send you coins, and that's how you acquire these shards, which you'll be able to buy them all the time because of that.
Yep.
So I had random people friending me. So I was like, yeah, why not? So I've got 10 people.
And then any people, cycle them out, people that haven't logged in for 5 or 6 days. I just delete them and then accept new ones. Because you want to get as many of those coins as possible.
Oh, good call.
I spiked my damage last night because I pulled my first 5-star.
Oh, you did? Sweet.
I pulled a fire Gearming.
Nice.
How'd you get? Wait, how did you get it?
Guess what? I got it in a rare Confinite.
Wow. Okay.
Are you kidding me? That is amazing.
That was super lucky.
And guess what his abilities do? Bleeding.
Are you serious?
That is so fitting for you.
I didn't even know there were bleed characters.
The gunners. All the gunners have bleed and trauma.
And he's what? He's called a Gearming?
Gearming, yeah. He's a little
Gear character that you follow through the storyline. I pulled him.
Oh,
nice.
That's awesome.
That is
I just got a
characters you're unlocking when you do your dailies. Those 5 shards you get are for him.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I pulled him. I was like, oh!
One thing I do really like about this game, and I also hate it all at the same time, is you unlock so many characters. I mean, I have 96 characters right now.
Yeah, me too. It's overflowing.
I just went through a spree last night, leveled a whole bunch of characters up to 4 stars.
Now,
Because I have a question for the person, but it was about whether or not you can eventually make anybody good.
I think you can, and maybe that's a question for the audience that knows. But
I've seen things that indicate that you can,
well,
because I've seen skill up imps, which means you don't have to have duplicates, and I've seen talent imps, which means they'll raise their talent score.
well, the ginsings is that what you're talking about? Oh, okay.
No.
Talent. No, you see what you're saying. Talent imps. Okay.
I used to ginseng to get my Ren up to 5-star.
Nice.
Which I don't know if he might have locked himself out of the story.
Oh yeah, I totally might have broken the game.
Because remember, there's supposedly a quest to evolve your Ren to a 5-star.
We'll probably just accept it at that point, I would hope.
Yeah, unless he has to get another Ren and do it.
I actually, believe it or not, I've got 2 more.
Okay, good.
I've used the 3 or 4 other ones that I've collected to enhance mine to get his skills up.
I'm holding on to them specifically just in case I broke the game.
But we're sidetracking.
Which, for those of you in the audience, because I want to leave a lot of that in, for those of you in the audience that you're getting duplicate characters, what would you recommend for the duplicate characters?
Duplicate characters. Basically, pick the one whose elemental affinity and talent match what you want. High talent has the affinity you want. And then use the other ones to feed either enhance or evolve. Use them during that, and it will raise the skill level of the character that you're wanting to keep.
Why don't you talk through that process? Because when you're on your main screen, there's a tab called the Advancement tab. And inside that Advancement tab, there's Enhance, Evolve, Awaken, and Transcendence, which Transcendence is a coming soon item, which, unlike some other games we play, I have a feeling it's actually coming soon.
Requires. I figured out what it requires. Whether or not it's in-game, I don't know.
It says coming soon when you click on it.
Enhance. You're basically going to feed your fodder characters into another character to grant them experience to level up. Something to point out, characters who have... Okay, so before I start that, your character is going to either have a gold star, silver star, or a purple star. Okay? The silver star cannot be used for anything. They're literally there to feed to other characters and complete some quests.
So are all our characters zombies is the question.
Anyway, the silver star characters that you're going to get, they're just little generic guys that are not named. They're not cool. They do look cool. The graphics in this game are awesome. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, graphics.
But anyway, the silver star characters, they can't evolve, they can't awaken, they can't do anything. They're literally useless to you as you advance through the game, except to feed for enhancements and evolutions. A gold star means that the character can awaken, and a purple star means the character has awakened.
So explain to us what awaken means.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Back to the advancement tab. Now that you know the silver star characters are typically used for either enhancement or awakening, or not awakening, enhancement or evolution, you can just get that out of the way. Also, you'll acquire XP spirits and evolution ginsengs and various other little sprite-like characters that really don't have any use other than for doing that. Throughout the game, as you play, you'll get them. You can purchase them in the shop once you expand your shop far enough. And it only requires gold to expand your shop to the point where they start appearing. So that's also good. Enhancement is raising your character by feeding in...
Touch on that for a second. You said you can expand your shop. What does that mean?
There's an option to purchase another slot.
In the shop, there's a little plus tab if you're in the shop. And when you click on that, you can actually open up more slots. It's kind of expensive. I started doing it.
It gets expensive.
But when you do that, they say that the later slots allow it so you can purchase... You said ginseng, right?
Mm-hmm. The evolution ginseng.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yep, I just expanded my slot and it showed up 40,000 for an evolution ginseng.
Yep. So that was like the first thing I did was expand my shop. I took my first 200 gems, went to the goods, purchased 500,000 gold, expanded my shop like 3 or 4 times, and my shop's been expanded the whole time.
This is why we have Ogre on these things, Loot, because he always does the deep analysis on this stuff.
I love it.
Even if he plays less than us. So.
Yeah, I do play a little bit less, but I do require gems on my shop now at this point to expand it, but I think I'm down to the last 3 slots. So
now with the characters, when you're enhancing or evolving them, do you know, because I don't know the answer to this, if it's significantly beneficial if they're max level or not?
Okay. So for max level, you can't enhance once they're max level unless you're feeding a duplicate for a skill up. I did find that out. So if they're max level, don't bother trying to enhance them because you can't.
But they can get a skill up. So like
they can't from a duplicate or a skill imp.
Because for example, I just put my Fire Tonku in enhance, and then it says skill up when I feed a 3-star wood Tonku to him.
Right, and it's only because he's a duplicate.
Okay.
If he was anybody else, it would say max level can't enhance.
Gotcha.
So you're literally sacrificing the XP on that one just to get the skill up.
And what does the skill up do?
It does allow. Okay, so a skill up, when you click on the skill icon, it actually has the main description, and then if you scroll down, there is like three or four levels, I think, for every skill that it adds every time you get a skill up.
Okay, I see. Level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 on this one.
Yeah, it's just a little extra damage and this, that, and the other. It's not a whole lot.
Okay. Man, there's so much stuff in this game.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's so much stuff.
I told you we should have talked sooner, that I would have been able to help you guys.
Yeah, that's okay. We're learning some stuff now.
Yeah,
I learned the hard way. I just let my thing run auto and eat all my gems.
See, I unfortunately suffer from, I have to play a bit smarter just because I am tighter on my resources. So,
well, Loot and I haven't broken into the wallet heavy yet. So.
We're not going to get into that. So, but I'm just an analyst type person anyway. So, where were we? Awakening? No, evolution. We're on evolution, right?
Yep, that's how we get an extra star for a character.
Okay, so once you have obtained max level, your character is ready for evolution. In order to evolve the character, you have to sacrifice 2 other characters that have the same, or sorry, not 2 other, a number of characters equal to the amount of stars you currently have that have the same number of stars. So if you are a 2-star, you have to sacrifice 2 other 2-star characters to make that character become a 3-star. If you are 3 stars, you have to sacrifice 3 other 3-star characters to make that character become a 4-star.
And I did learn that that character has to be max level to be eligible to be advanced.
Does have to be max level.
But not you as an individual, but the actual character. So a 4-star character's max level is 30.
Okay, hold on. Characters' max levels are based on how many stars they have. Okay. This is part of the evolution process that you want to know. 2-star characters have a max level of 20. 3-star characters have a max level of 25. 4-star characters have a max level of 30. I'm not going to go into 5 and 6 because hopefully you'll figure that out by then. Yes, there is a 6th star. You can't, I don't know if you can pull a character that's 6 stars. I think you can, but
I don't think you can pull them. I think they only are eligible through certain special things.
When you pull the pre-awakened ones, they have +1 star. So you can pull a 6-star awakened, which is basically maxed out, as far as I know. But I've seen people like while I'm in game, I've seen the thing pop up saying so-and-so pulled this, and I'm pretty sure I've seen 6-star awakened as one of them one time.
Wow, that's a crazy pull if that's the case. Maybe it's through some type of special drop or something.
0.00001% chance or something.
So where would you pull that from? Where does that come out of?
Probably the Summonite.
I'm thinking the
The
6-star
cubes?
one's probably something special because when you look at what they can pull, most of them say the most you can pull is a 5-star.
That's true. It's probably a special one, yeah, or something that you get way late in the game that we don't know about yet.
Yeah. So we don't need to speculate on this.
We're sidetracking. Anyway, 2-star characters level 20, 3-star character 25, 4-star character 30. You have to hit max level before you can evolve to the next star. And then you also have to sacrifice the number of stars worth of other characters at that star level. Hope that's clear as mud.
And let's move on to Awaken. What does Awakening do?
Okay, so Awakening actually unlocks your final skill that you can only use when your legendary bar is full, which, depending on how strong you are, it doesn't fill up all that often. You just, kill everything, and then... also, the legendary bar is used by all characters, I think. So whoever uses it.
Yeah, that I'm certain of.
I think.
You're right, because there's times where I'm like, do I want to heal? Do I want to do crazy damage with my mage?
Yeah. So if you have your whole team awakened, only one of the characters gets to use the bar.
But you can, in long matches, you'll fill that bar sometimes 2 and 3 times.
This is true. Like guild battles and stuff like that, you're going to fill that bar up. Don't worry.
And where is that bar located on the screen?
It's actually directly under your skill icons.
Wow. So I've been playing this game for days, and I did not realize that. I didn't even know what that thing was.
You just know that every so often, hey, she used the superpower.
Yeah, because that's when they do like the full animation where they cut to that character and then...
Yeah.
Well, I've been playing on manual a lot, like on the harder levels, and I sort of just wait for the shape to fill up, but I didn't understand where that was coming from.
Oh, okay.
But now I do.
Yeah. So that's what that is. But Awakening requires different things based on the star level base that the character has. If it's a 2-star base, it doesn't require a whole lot. If it's a 3-star base, it requires a little more. 4-star, 5-star, blah, blah, blah. Now, something to point out, I have made note of this, and I checked it. If you awaken a character at lower stars, they remain awakened throughout all their stars.
Really? I did not know that.
Yes. So I brought a 2-star awakened last night, and I brought him to 4 stars. He has all 4 stars awoken. So they're going to be awoken no matter what. That's just period.
Well, because I wasn't sure if I should spend my resources on awakening certain characters yet, so that actually helps out a lot.
Yeah. Don't worry about when you awaken. Now, the flip side to that is if you evolve a character to the next star, does the materials cost increase to awaken them? And the answer is no. It stays the same as whatever their base star value is. So don't worry about that either.
Gotcha. And then the resources they cost are different. It's
based on their affinity for their element. Whatever element they are is what kind of essences they're going to need.
And they also seem to have some that are cross.
Just generic summon items.
Yeah, so I see on, for example, I have a Dark Tonku that I'm looking at right now, and he's got Light Essence, Intermediate Light Essence, Small Light Essence, Intermediate Awakening Stone, and Awakening Stone, which it looks like everybody uses Awakening Stones to a certain degree.
Everybody has the Awakening Stones because that's how you awaken.
Yeah.
So
when you're running the dungeons and you see the different resource ones, which we'll get into in a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, let's move on. That's a good segue. Let's move on to the dungeons.
We finish everything about Awakening. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Where do you get the Awakening Stone?
You can actually, in any item, when you're looking at it, if you tap on it, there's going to be a little, location indicator icon.
Okay.
The item, and you can click on that, and it'll actually show you the different locations where you can get it.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yes. It is a very easy-to-use finder, sort of. But basically, the way that I've been earning them so far is just by doing, quests and different things. I know later on, once we've unlocked the Abyss, which I assume is way late in the game, they're basically there.
Well, I see the Abyss, Dragon Frontier,
Yeah.
Forgotten Battlefield, Sanctuary Stars, and then Barracks Expedition. So that's where I'm getting them from, because I've been getting them. So I'm getting them in the Barracks, which we'll talk about later too.
I'm looking at one of my characters. Her name is Nora, and she's a 4-star. To awaken her, I need advanced awakening stones. And it's either the Abyss or Barracks.
Yes.
Which I have Nora, a 4-star awakened Nora, and she's one of my favorite characters in here. I've known her since the start.
I will also point out that all of these materials can appear in the shop.
Of course.
Once
That's expected.
Once you've expanded your shop to that point, it won't appear early. You have to expand your shop almost to max to actually see them. So, but yeah.
All right. So why don't we move to... Actually, while we're on Awakening and all that, let's talk about Synthesis next.
Okay. I don't really understand it yet, but from my initial looking at it, what you're going to need is all of the characters that are indicated, and then they basically merge together to become the new character.
Yeah, it looks like because one of the guides said the main character you want to try to go after is Regis. She's a 5-star character that looks like she's pretty ridiculous, and you need 4-star awakened characters, and 3 of those 4-star awakened characters, well, at least 1 or 2 of them, have to be created earlier. So earlier you see Belican and Apollo, and Nora. Actually, Nora's not one I pulled. So Nora's, did you synthesize her, Luke? Is that how you got her?
She actually is the login reward or something.
Oh, okay. Maybe I did. Oh, I got a fire Nora. This is a different one.
So I've gotten 2 Noras. I have water and a fire, and I got them both from the summoning of the Confinite.
Okay.
Or it might have been rare. One of the 2.
The fire one, I'm pretty sure, is the login.
Yeah, I have the fire one.
Maybe I got them from there.
X number of days, and that's when you get her. Because I got her, too.
So, I thought I'd pulled her, but I guess I did get from login. But I guess a lot of people say get Regis because she's supposed to be really good. So 5-star Regis, she requires 4 characters. But you could synthesize to get 3 of those characters, it looks like.
Again, back to me talking about talent earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Characters that have a high base star value have a higher talent.
So where would we see the talents of these characters?
When you click on your character, there's a little description of them, and you see their level, their name, and then I think their affinity type, whether it's wood, water, whatever, and then right around in there somewhere, there should say talent, and then a number.
Gotcha.
You see it?
Yeah, I see it. I see it on my characters. I'm just curious, characters that you don't have, how you would see that. I know there was a place.
So if you have the character, I'm pretty sure you can go into the tab and then go to Codex.
Oh, okay. I see that.
And then I think you can find the one you're looking for. Use Gearman, for example. He's one of the first characters. But if you click on...
Okay, I see him. 5-star gearing, talent 9.
Pops him, right?
And it looks
when you're looking at it, it pops him up at max level and everything, right?
And the dark is a talent 11, so that makes sense.
Yeah, the dark one is going to be really, really powerful.
And the light one's 10, all the other ones are 9. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
So is dark the most powerful in the game for anything?
Not necessarily. Again, the light and dark ones are going to be more powerful.
Typically, but not always, right?
Based on where the character, what affiliation the character has. If that makes sense.
Okay. No, it does.
Okay. So, if the character's a good guy, I would assume the light one's going to be stronger. But if the character's kind of a bad guy, they're going to be more of the dark side.
Well, if we look at...
This is speculating a little bit. I haven't really looked into all this yet. So.
But if you look at, Cordelia, for example, the fire is an 8, and so is the light and dark.
Right. She's naturally oriented to fire.
So that's interesting.
Gearming, it sounds like, is naturally oriented to dark.
Okay, so let's move on. So we're running long already, but this will be a long episode. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I don't think an hour's going to kill us.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Let's move on to.
To be fair, we also chattered for a good while.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be editing out at least 10 minutes of this, but this is going to take me like 4 hours to edit. So let's go on to. So I just started playing. I'm running through my quest. What do I want to do when I'm playing the game? What should I be focusing on? So obviously you start with questing. Should I continue questing, or should I run all these side things showing up, or what should I be doing with my energy?
When you say questing, are you referring to the main storyline?
Yeah, the adventure mode.
Okay, because when I say questing, I'm going to refer to your daily quests and stuff like that.
Right, which is something you do want to do every day if you can, because you do get a lot of resources.
Do your daily quest.
And they seem to be pretty easy to do, too.
What you want to do is your daily quest, complete those as much as you can, because when you complete all of them, you're going to be able to receive 5 shards of a 5-star Gearming, who's really powerful, as your reward. You need 150 of those shards, so 30 days of completing your dailies to get and unlock that Gearming.
One thing to note, you do need to click the receive button, because it doesn't automatically give it to you. I think I may have missed out on it. So when you click the receive all, it only takes the ones from the main line. Once you've completed all those, the one to receive the bonus for completing all your dailies, you have to manually click that one. It will not be received with the receive all. Is that what you're referring to? Yes.
Okay. So yeah, do your dailies. Absolutely, do your dailies. Free 5-star, take it. Be happy.
And while we're on the topic, this will be a quick little side diversion. Gearing your characters, one of my missions, because I was just looking at it and I saw I only had 2 hours left, is enhance a piece of gear. And to note, there is gear, it looks like, for all of your characters. There's weapon, there's hands, chest, feet.
Everything's based on their class. So the equipment isn't character specific, it's class. So if you have a gladiator like Ren, all the gladiators are going to be able to equip the same equipment.
Right. And this is similar to most MMO style games that you would see out there.
Right.
And the gears have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star, 6-star.
Same as your characters.
They have rare, so you can see there's white gear, green gear, which is less rare, blue gear, which is rare, orange gear, which is, I guess, legendary, or like ultra more rare, purple, which is ultra crazy rare.
And purple's like legendary.
Yeah. It seems like purple's the highest of the bunch that I've seen so far. There may be something.
The highest I've got is gold.
Yeah, so you've done pretty good then.
Yeah, I've gotten a few gold recently.
I think I found my first gold piece last night through the story.
And then there's also wings that you can get from a dungeon.
I have not gotten wings yet out of the dungeon.
Guild dungeons. It specifies guild dungeons.
Correct. So, and then you can enhance gear for the cost of gold, which I'm told that gets extremely expensive later game.
So I've enhanced gear, and it is quite expensive. I mean, it's all relative because I'm not really sure how much gold we can get in X amount of time, but the gold gear was about just under 10,000 to enhance, and then it starts doing this weird thing of you can enhance it, maybe. You like have to roll the dice, and either it's successful or you fail.
Oh, geez.
So you got to spend the 10,000, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that last night too. So I was like, oh, that's good to know.
Back to the adventure mode. I know you can, when you complete everything, or a good ways into the storyline mode, you can get a 6-star Ren, and then possibly, I know you get a lot of other stuff, because but it is extremely long, from what I can tell.
It's really long.
A lot of story.
Which is great. I mean, coming
I'm
from other mobile
perfectly fine
games.
with there being a ton of story.
Yeah, coming from other mobile games where, the PvE content is limited, this game does not lack for that in the slightest.
Doesn't seem like it. We may be tooting a different horn here in 3 months, but we'll see.
Right, and granted, yeah, we're very new to the game, but it seems like there's a lot of PvE content in the adventure story mode. So everything I've read from all the guides and all the experienced players, and to note, this game was in beta for almost a year with a small group of people, which I know a little bit of a point of contention is that a lot of those people got to keep their gear, and there wasn't a new server to roll on. So there's a small group of people that have a very large lead, like almost a year-long lead on everyone.
So they're super characters, basically.
Yeah, and you can see them on the top of the PvP boards, which we'll get into later as well. That
200,000 power.
Yeah, and I'm thinking I'm cool with my 20,000 power, which I think we're pretty low compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Crossed 10,000 yesterday.
Yeah. But I mean, we've only been playing.
We're digressing.
Yeah, we're digressing.
Back on topic.
So then there's dungeons, regular dungeons, which it seems like there's a whole slew of different kinds. There's ones for So
the elemental dungeons, which is where you get your materials to awaken the characters, and then there's the gear dungeons to just farm some gear. And then there's something called corridors, which I'm not sure how much we want to go into.
Well, corridors open from playing dungeons, and any of your friends open a corridor, you can access it. It looks like the standard is they're open for an hour, and there's gold ones, experience ones, different character shards that you can obtain. Those are extremely important from what I can tell.
Yeah. And I think it has a max number of players who can be in it at any given time of 10.
Okay, I saw that it looked like there was a maximum of 10, and then also, I know, Luke, you were able to level up all of your characters that you were going to use for feeding super fast from doing the XP corridor and then using an XP scroll.
Yeah, I used the scroll. It was at 200% increase.
Yeah, so that's a big jump.
Which scrolls you'll get from just random events, logins, they send them to you in the mail.
You can buy them in the shop as well.
Yeah, you can buy them in the shop. I've gotten them from a number of different things.
Lots of ways to obtain them. So don't worry. You'll be ready by the time you're ready to start abusing this.
And then if you were in a guild, there is a guild dungeon, which is pretty cool. There's not a lot of games have alliances or guilds, but they don't have cooperative content, and this game has that. And then it looks like they have either coming soon or we just haven't unlocked it yet, a rift, which I don't know exactly what that is, but it looks like it might be some kind of raid style event. I don't know if either one of you know anything
I
about
hope
that.
So.
It's locked and it's there.
That'd be fantastic.
Possible alliance versus alliance war?
Maybe. There's something. I mean, there's definitely something there.
It sounds cool, whatever it is. Rift.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I mean, more stuff. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because there apparently isn't enough. Now, then there's another kind of a solo mode called Tower that has...
I actually haven't touched that yet.
So
I haven't even downloaded it.
I think I'm on the...
Which is actually something that's really cool, I think. You don't have to download everything all at once if you don't want to.
Yeah, that is a really neat feature. And I like that the game doesn't log you out quickly. So in a lot of games that we play, that I've played, if you need to take a phone call, if you're playing on your phone, or if you minimize the app to go read something, the game logs you out and you got to log all the way back in and do all this. This game does not log you out for a very long time.
Dude, mine does. That could just be my phone, though.
That might be your settings, because I can literally walk away for 2 hours.
It works a lot better than DC Legends, put it that way. Significantly better.
Yeah, I've walked away for 2 hours before and been able to log right back in. Like, pick up right where I left off.
Hmm.
So
let's get back to the tower.
I've been experiencing some other issues, but them, again, may just be because I'm on Android. So I'm not going to get into that. So anyway.
Okay, that's fine. Back to the tower. The tower is a pretty neat event. It's based on there's over 100 floors. I think I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what the max is. Do you know, Luke?
I don't. It's over 100 for sure.
I'm on the 20-something floor. It gains power as you go along, and you get... I can't remember what the drop is. It's some kind of box, mystery box type of thing. You need to collect those to unlock characters, but they cycle through characters every It's a month long, I think it is, Luke?
Yeah, I think it's 3 weeks.
Okay, so it's a 3-week event. You climb as high as you can. Each time you go through a floor, you can gain different drops, but you also gain the boxes. I can't remember what they're called. I went into something, so I couldn't look at it at the moment. But
Is that the Summonite box?
the Summonite box, that's what it is. And there are different characters. I know Fervus was in there, or he's going to be available in a couple weeks, they had said. So depending on characters you want, you can look at when they're going to become available, and then wait and save them up to unlock that character.
I've opened a lot of them because I saw Bloodfang is in there, and I really want him. So I rolled the dice, and I got common, not great characters.
Yeah, so I think it is.
Okay, so back up for a second. Common, not great characters. You're only going to be able to pull a 3 to 5 star base character out of those Summonite cubes. Obviously, what he's referring to is he wanted one of the 5-star characters that is ultra rare.
Correct.
But I'll take a 4-star happily.
When you're opening these, it's not like you're going to get a Garbo character. All of the characters at 3 to 5 stars are actually good. And again, you can make anybody usable if you want to put the effort into it.
Well, I don't know if the term good necessarily, but we don't really know yet, to be honest with you. But
on par.
Yeah.
I'll just use that, on par. I'm not going to say they're going to be better or worse than anybody else because we haven't really got that much experience yet. But from what we understand, you can get all characters onto the same playing field.
So all characters could be great?
I guess technically. Except for the Silver Star ones.
Yes, the Silver Stars you can't do anything with. But from what I understand, if I wanted to take Umvara, who is the ogre-looking healer 2-star character that you fight early on in campaign as a boss, if I wanted to take him and make him good, he has a base talent of 5, right? If I eventually use talent imps and get that talent score up there to where it's a 10, he'll be on par with characters who have that same talent.
I understand.
At least that's how I'm understanding the system so far. I'm not saying that the character himself is going to be amazing, but part of that is due to what the skills he has are.
Right. So exactly. So and I don't even know what skills are good.
Again, a higher base star and a higher talent score are what you really want to look for. But if you have a favorite character, yes, you can eventually build them up to be on par with those higher characters. I'm not sure how long it takes. Don't ask. I haven't got that far yet.
So let's move on to the next area. So towers seems like it's another mode to do that's a little bit different. It's pretty neat. You can unlock characters that seems like better characters. Let's move on to the arena, which is your PvP mode. It looks like there's a classic and arcade, and the arcade changes. It looks like the last couple ones I've seen were based on the affinity type, and then
okay, something else. The arcades are 3-man. And the classics are 4-man.
Okay. Well, the arcade, you have a hidden character in arcade, so it kind of is 4-man.
You have a hidden character in the classic, too, so you technically get 5 and 4.
Okay.
But the hidden character only comes out when a character you have on the battlefield dies.
I actually don't think there's a hidden character in the other mode.
It's in classic, for sure.
Yeah, it's not.
Because that's the only one I've tried.
Whether or not it's an arcade, I haven't really played arcade, because that's the 3-man. But I'm not sure.
But you also get tokens in that, and the tokens you can purchase items. Yeah, you can get Summonite shards, and you'll get different things depending on where you get on the ladder. I haven't done a whole heck of a lot of the PvP just because I'd been so low level. But it does seem like the PvP is definitely very different than the PvE. So how you set up your teams, what's good, what isn't, seems to be very different.
Yes.
Which is cool. I like that. It makes you want to, build up a different type of team. And
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's good game design, is what it is.
Yeah, very good game design. And then there's lots of different rewards. You can get Confidant for it. There's all kinds of different things. So we'll go into PvP more when we have any idea what we're doing with that. So
Look for episode 2.
yeah, look for episode 2, maybe 3, and then we hope to have next episode. We hope to have somebody who's very experienced in the game as a guest to kind of answer some of these questions. And also for any of you listening, please send us your questions that you may or may not have. Good chance we probably won't be able to answer them, or we may, but we can include them in the show if not.
Yeah.
The next thing to talk about is let's talk about the barracks and how that works.
Okay.
I've done it. Have you guys tried it?
Yeah, I've been running it for a while now, actually.
Yes, I have done it. I was waiting for him to list off what part of it he wanted me to talk about.
Oh, I was going to say, let's just start with the expeditions, which is the first part.
Okay. So the expeditions, the first couple things you need to know are there's 3 different time frames that you can go for, 2 hour, 4 hour, and 8 hour. You can select up to 5 characters to go on the expedition. How many expeditions you can go on is based on the level of the barracks. And as you raise the level, you get more available expedition parties to go. And you also raise the chance at treasure by leveling up your barracks. The second thing to note is in order to go on an expedition, you have to have completed all of the easy levels of that particular area that you're going on the expedition for.
Now, and I do see that you can get there's a chance to win purple gear, there's a chance to win shards for characters, like, for example, you can get Nora shards on the Forgotten Battlefield. On Dragon Frontier, you can get Apollo shards. Looks like they're for 4 and 5 4-star characters. William shards, 4-star character on Sanctuary of the Stars. So you get some pretty interesting stuff. And you do get the gear that, like Fire Essence, etc. You can get things like that.
This is interesting. It seems that each level is element-based. So, like, Dragon is fire, Forgotten Battlefield is
right.
water, and Sanctuary of Stars is wood.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't even notice that before.
And to be fair, we are only the first 3 worlds in.
Yeah.
There are 6 more worlds, so we're not sure.
Which advancing, which I have a feeling they'll finish out the Affinities and have something else. The other thing, they have something that's coming soon called Boot Camp, so we don't know what that is, but
I assume it's just go gain a ton of experience.
Yeah.
So I have a question, because I've only been trying this mode for, 2 days. Does it matter who you send on the expedition?
Okay. The expedition team gains experience from the expedition, but I don't think it changes the outcome of what you get.
Yeah, because when you tell it to set heroes, it always picks your lowest characters.
I noticed that.
Because it wants to give them the experience.
Yeah, I think it's probably the smartest to just let it set, because unless you plan to feed those characters, you're planning to feed those characters. I don't think you can feed them when they're on an expedition.
Yeah. I don't know. Not sure about that, because I think I have. But I'm not sure. But anyway, something to note about your characters. You're going to get an absolute ton of characters, as we were just saying. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to power up all of them, because you need to feed them to the other ones to get them more powerful, blah, blah, blah. But something that you want to do is, go through and pick the ones you like, either their skills or their look, or find a feature that you think is good, that you want to use this character. And I would say pick around 10 characters. Don't go with 5, I think. I think go with 10, maybe 15 characters at most, and pick these are my characters that I want to work on. Everything else is going to fall to the wayside.
Yeah, and you can plan those around synthesizing to get those characters, if that's what you're looking to do. So there's definitely, and that's been my problem, is I can't settle on. I've settled on a few that I wanted to work on, and then I kind of got where I didn't know who I wanted to work on. I have way too many characters, and I'm working on way too many. I need to kind of buckle down and pick a good 10 or 15 characters that I'm going to work on. One last area we haven't talked about yet is the command post, which is where if you click on it, you can click on your heroes, your equipment, and then there's Ordinance, which we haven't talked about the Ordinance yet. I did hear that you shouldn't waste all your Ordinance, the commander's emblems, because there is a quest where you need to use that at some point, and if you don't have any, it's a pain to get. Makes it take a while. Seems like the Ordinance, I don't know if you know anything about this yet, Ogre, but it looks like
I just know that you get a very few of them and you have very few slots. So
there's 5 slots.
Are equipping.
There's 5 slots.
Unequipping them is a pain in the butt.
Okay. So, like right now I have
Cover
Powerful
that at
Fist
all.
and Mental Focus, so it increases your stats, it looks like, for a period of time.
No, it's not even a period of time.
I mean,
it's
forever.
Always.
Yeah, forever, excuse me.
I've
So,
got 3 active right now.
I've got 2 active, and I think I have 3 or 4 unlocked.
I have 5.
Yeah. But unequipping an Ordinance is costly. Something that we didn't cover while we were in the gear. You can unequip gear, but it is costly.
Yeah, it does seem like it's very expensive.
However, if you don't unequip it, it will just be destroyed when you equip a new equipment, which is fine in early on because you don't need those lower garbage equipments that you started with.
Right.
However, when you get towards the late game, where you have these orange gears that you have a whole bunch of enhancements on and you want to move to a new character, it is very costly.
Now I was just kind of glancing through the shop. In the guild shop, there is a box called Evolution Ginseng Box. I have a feeling that's probably something we want. You can only buy one of them.
It's probably contains a number of ginseng.
Yeah, but it comes with 1 4-star, 1 3-star, and 1 2-star.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Now, the reason that the ginsengs are important is because they're basically a useless little sprite character, but they have the stars that you need to evolve your character, so you're not feeding other characters into them. I don't have to sacrifice my Nora to feed to my 4-star Leona because I have this ginseng that has 4 stars. Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, so that's what you want to look for as you progress is those ginsengs with high stars.
And where do you get those ginsengs from? What's their...
A variety of locations in the shops.
In the shops, got it.
No, they're not just the shops. You'll get them from different
There
rewards.
might be in corridors. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've gotten them just from random different places. It seems like you get them more from achievements and from quest rewards, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll earn them throughout, but then again, if you're really looking for them, they're in the shops in different places. Like Hate was just saying, the guild box is one you want to look at because it has all of the ginsengs. So it's definitely something you want to pick up. So.
Is there any other topics you guys can think of, or do we want to wrap this up? We're at a good solid hour at this point.
Let's see here.
I don't know, there's just so much to cover. There's so much in this game that I just don't know.
Oh, on a side note, our guild beat the first boss.
Yeah, no, that was me.
Okay.
Thank you. I took 6 lives off of him in one shot.
Nice.
Jeez. I was actually impressed with myself. I went from doing like 5,000 damage to like 80,000 damage just because loot had opened to those experience corridors, and I'm like, farm!
Yeah.
So in that last run, it's really cool. It tells you how much damage you did, like when you're finished at the end of the battle. I did 534,000 damage.
Nice.
I was like, wow, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, it seems like the numbers are going to get exponential.
Yeah, though. I mean, I'm sure we're probably the experienced players that may be listening to this are probably thinking, "Oh, these guys, they don't even know."
500,000 damage to that with one basic attack.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And if you go into the dungeon and you click on the bullet, and then you scroll to the left, you can see who attacked the guy and how much damage they did, like in total.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
like that. In any battle, you can go through and get an after action report basically and see what characters are doing what.
Mm-hmm.
And then one other thing to note, you can set like if you're setting it to auto farm or auto attack through the adventure or whatever, you can set it to be defensive, offensive. Like there's all kinds of different ways to change.
There's a lot of customization in this game.
Tons of customization.
Oh.
And then
Well,
it feels like there's skins for characters. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
They have at least skins for one for the new year. At least the one character has skins.
So there's three at least there's 3 Lunar New Year skins that I've seen.
But at least for the one character.
Yeah. No, there's one for Leona, there's one for Charlotte, and there's one for Fervus already.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So they're adding all kinds of craziness. So.
Yeah, and this game's only been out for 3 weeks, so
now
that's impressive.
Playing if you're gonna. Yeah. They definitely went in a lot of the right directions.
Yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with it.
Tons of content. They keep adding stuff. Like, this is absolutely craziness level of... And, to be fair, maybe we're all just jaded from playing other games.
Yeah, I mean, just, when you...
But it's hard to comprehend that this is all on a mobile game.
I mean, this is made by NCSoft, which is a big, big company.
That's fair. But again, it's hard to comprehend that this is all possible for a mobile game.
Yeah, I mean, mobile games, even 2 years ago, couldn't have even made anything remotely this big.
Yeah. I can tell you that depending on what device you use, that's the performance you're going to get. It is extremely intensive. When I run it on my iPhone XS Max or XS Max, the performance is great. When I run it on my iPad Pro, not this year's Pro, but last year's, it is nowhere near as smooth.
Yeah, it's funny because this is the first game that I notice a big difference. Like, normally I like it on my iPad better, but my phone seems to run it a little bit better.
Yeah, the latest version Android and latest version iPhone will probably run this the best.
And that's probably where I'm running into my issues because I have an older Samsung.
Now, you can turn down the settings. Right now I have all the settings on Max, which I
me too.
probably should turn it down a little bit for my iPad.
Turn mine down. What happens?
But I'm loving the game. I'm having a great time with it. So.
Oh, it is a blast. I pretty much, on days where I'm not playing Disney Hero Battle, because on Thursday nights I do a guild meeting for that, all my nights have been spent just 2 to 3 hours grinding Aion, so...
All right, well, that's been fun, guys. Let's wrap this up. I'm not sure what our release schedule is going to be. We're either going to... Depending on, there's a lot to talk about in this game, so it may justify a weekly release schedule. I think initially we'll probably start off bi-weekly just because we're still doing a podcast for another game, and that's a lot to take on. But we'll see when we can get a guest. I know I want to talk to the guest really bad, so the next episode may come out sooner than later for that reason. But
yeah, we need like a guru. We need somebody to answer a bunch of our questions.
So what we need is to publish this and hopefully attract somebody to come on.
Oh, no, I've already gotten responses. I already have people telling me they're willing to come on.
I understand, but I want them to listen to this episode before they come on and see how accurate we were.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Trust me, we're going to get people telling us how wrong we are on certain things.
You're stupid!
You bunch
These
of
guys
noobs.
have no idea.
You guys are noobs. That everybody's a moron. You're so arrogant.
I don't think, this. What I have to say, the community in this game reminds me so much of DCL. Is what kind of, honestly, that I liked the game. I was kind of playing it overnight. I was planning to playing it, and then I started wandering through the community, and I was like, this reminds me a lot of the DCL community. And that kind of was the tipping point for me.
Well, honestly, I wasn't going to play the game. And you started saying how much you liked it. Because I tried the tutorial, and I was like, this is weird. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then I waited 2 weeks, and you were, like, really talking it up. So I said, you know what? If Hate likes it, let me give this another chance.
Yeah, I was kind of on the fence because I played it for the first week. And I didn't really talk about it at all. I just downloaded it. I kind of played it. My wife didn't really like it that much. Then she was like, "It's okay," but she's played it before I did, and she said, She goes, I think you'd like this game. This is your style. And I'm like, I said, it is Aion. And she liked Aion when it had come out originally. And then I started messing around with it. I played it kind of a little bit on the week, but the Siege was about to come out on DCL, and we had done so much podcasting that week. So I started messing around with it a little bit more. And then I started just doing the daily quest. I'm like, well, I kind of like it, but I'm not sure. But let me just do the daily. I did the dailies every day. I just played for a short period of time, less than an hour, and just ran the dailies. I'm like, okay, so I can minimal play and keep up with the normal, what I feel like I should have to do every day. I was like, so that's nice. And then I played a little more and a little more, and then I started getting really into it. And then I got into Arena.
You started playing a little more.
Yeah. Then I got cheesed off about the Siege thing in our other game. And then so I was like, all right, I'm going to play this game a little more. And then I got into Arena, and actually it was the first match I just got spanked by a team that was weaker than me. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot more strategy in this game than I realized. And
did you face the guy that chains you up?
No, I faced some big team that had, I don't know, it was like an all-fire team or something that did crazy damage. And I just got wrecked. And I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I could get into this.
A lot more depth than you gave it credit for.
Yeah, and then I realized, then I played more and more and more, and then I was like completely hooked. I'm like, oh, great, another stupid mobile game I'm into. So.
The auto function, like that auto feature is really cool when you want to grind, but when you're doing a hard level, I usually put it on the slowest speed and manual so that, and I finally figured out how to interrupt.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Good, somebody did. How do you do that?
You just got to use a character that has interrupt, and then when you see that they're about to cast the ability that you want to stop, you just cast that ability and knock them down or stun them or...
Yeah, so you want to save that interrupt until...
Well, no.
Ren has an interrupt.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically say interrupt, but if it's classified as a knockdown, a stun, I can't remember, there's a couple other... Yeah, knockback, that will interrupt an ability.
And then, if you have ranged characters, so like I'm running Leona and Nora together, so I have Ren do the interrupt, it knocks the guy down, and then Leona and Nora get extra skills. Like, they pop up on the top, and then you could activate both of them, and they, like, snipe the guy.
Yeah, they have I think it's called Airborne or something, where you can, if somebody's...
It's not Airborne, stun. Those are the different interrupts, I guess.
Yeah, there's a couple different things, so the combat is...
The ranged characters have the combo skills, which is where the combo counter actually starts ticking up, is when they're in that knockdown or airborne state, those characters can activate their special skills and they start comboing.
Yeah, because there's actually a quest to do 10
Yeah, I do that all the time. I didn't realize that it has to have one of those three effects to interrupt. That's the part I didn't understand.
Yeah, so it's extremely intricate combat system, and it seems like when you're like really late game, there's probably some crazy complex battles you would do.
And I'd imagine there's synergies that we just don't know about yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I would be excited. There's a guy who was on Reddit, and I apologize, I don't remember your name if you're listening to this at the moment, but he is a top 25 player, so he said he would be interested in coming on one of our episodes, so hopefully we'll get him on in the next episode or two.
Question for you guys. Do you know, because I haven't tested this yet, do you know if you can have multiple of the same character on the team?
No, you cannot.
You cannot.
You cannot.
Darn it. I was thinking up my dream team, and I'm like, I've got this one Gearman, and then if I farm the other Gearman...
Yeah, it won't let me. I've tried to, because I was trying to do multiple Tonkus on the team. So I was going to have my level 30 Tonku carry my weaker ones in a smaller match, and it wouldn't let me do it. So
even if they're different elements and stuff, it won't.
Yeah, even if they're different. So that does seem to, it gives reason as to why you wouldn't want 5 of the same guy in different elements.
Oh, I mean, you still might, but it's definitely going to change how you think about everything.
Yeah.
So
I just opened up a golden corridor, and it's not beatable for us.
Oh, it's not?
The bad guy is 77,000 power.
Oh, jeez.
At least open up the weak one.
I don't understand. Like, why did it do that?
Is it yours or is it someone else's?
No, this is mine. Like it's just random from doing dungeons or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was doing dungeons, and it opened this golden corridor, and the enemy is 77,622.
Wow.
Lord.
I don't know, and that would be.
I can't even hurt him.
That would be a question I would like to see. I think it is one of your friends because I don't see it on mine. Normally, I would see it when you open it.
It's part of the quest, so the quest opened it.
Oh, you better get gear in your characters then, buddy.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up because I got to get going here, actually. So, but thanks everybody for listening. We definitely plan to continue this, and we'll hopefully have a little bit more involved information for players that may have been playing longer, but I know there's a huge group of people that are just getting into this game that needed some very basic information, so we decided it was probably a good idea to go ahead and get that information out there to the community. So thanks everyone.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening.